Hi everyone, this is my end of March updates. This is my Rynchorides Bangkok sunset. I've been trying to get it to grow new roots, so I know that this plant likes warm temperatures, so I bought a heat mat just for this. So far I haven't seen any progress on that, so it's still kind of the same. This is a heat mat for reptiles. I couldn't find one for plants that are this size, so if you're interested, I'll put a link to it below. This is my Vanda cristata and it's in bloom. I will create a separate bloom video for this so you can get a better look at the flowers. This is my Phal NOID. The bloom that it had finally fell off, but this one is maturing, so should get another bloom on this soon. This is my Vanda coerulescens I got recently at the Vancouver Orchid Society show, and it actually does have something growing in here. I think it might be a flower spike, so if it is, that'll be very exciting. This is my Vanda pumila, and it's pushing out a few new roots, so that's really good. And it also has a new leaf starting. This is my Ascocentrum garayi, and it has a new leaf on one of the keikis. This is my Ascocentrum ampullaceum. I'm not going to pull all the leaves out, but as you can see there, the flower spike is actually starting to grow. Not just that one, but the other ones on this plant as well. So I'm for sure going to get blooms this year. The back growth, there's 6 flower spikes, and on this front growth, there's 4. So that's 10 flower spikes. So that's going to be very exciting. This is my Aerides houlletiana, and its flower spike is progressing nicely. This is my Galeandra baueri, and it has a new growth starting. And this is my Thrixspermum leucarachne. I got this recently at the Vancouver Orchid Society show, and I put it on a mount. Right now it's not hanging on anything, I didn't put any hooks on it, so it's just leaning up against this mesh here. This is my Dendrobium scabrilingue, and it has 2 flower buds on this cane. So there's one right there, and there's one at the top there. This is my Renanthera monachica. This is one of the plants I'm planning to put outside this summer. I just think it might do better with more heat, and I have a little 4-tier greenhouse which I think can help this plant, so that's the plan. This is my Aerides odorata alba, and it has this new leaf. This is my Brassavola cuculatta red form. Not much to update on the plant itself, but just want to put a note that I am planning to repot this and put it into this lava rock pot. Actually, I think this is called a feather rock, but it previously held my bulbophyllum barbatum, so that's the plan with my Brassavola. This is my Ctsm cross, and it finally reached dormancy. This is my Fred Clarkiara After Dark SVO black pearl. It's pushing out that new growth really nicely with lots of roots. This is my Trichoglottis pusilla, and what I believe to be flower spikes haven't really done much, so still waiting on those. This is my Ascocentrum cross, and the flower spike is progressing, albeit very slowly. This is my Dendrobium bracteosum, and has 2 flower spikes, I guess. They're not really spikes, but where the flowers would come out. So there's one there, and there's one right there. There's going to be another potential flower spike right here, but it hasn't done much since the last time I think I filmed this. And there's 2 on the back as well. This is new, I just saw it just now. And there's one at the bottom here. I think these ones will actually spike. I think the last time I showed this, it showed that it had a new growth here, but now it has another new growth over here. This is my Epidendrum ciliari, and it's pushing out roots into the media. The growth itself hasn't really grown all that much, but I feel like this one will be okay. This is my Ascocentrum pusillum, and it has a new leaf. This is my Dendrobium antenatum cross. This was the latest growth, and it looks like it's just about done, and there's a new growth over on that side there. I have noticed that the older leaves are starting to lose some chlorophyll, so it looks a little bit spotted. I'm not quite sure why that is. I've been fertilizing it pretty regularly, so I'm not really sure. Anyway, this is another plant that I'm planning to put outside. I want to give it warmer temperatures so that I can get it to bloom. If it doesn't bloom, then I'm going to give this away because it's too big for something that hasn't bloomed, and I've had it for at least 2 years, I think. So yeah, that's the plan. This is my Cloecia Rebecca Northern Cubby, and it's pushing out a new growth on this division. I haven't seen anything from this division yet. For those who don't remember, this is one plant, but when I repotted it, it split in half, so this is actually now 2 plants. This is my other Ctsm cross, and it's pushing out the new growth really nicely. This is my Dendrobium longicornu, and I think it's pushing out a new growth at the bottom. It's kind of been that size for a long time, but I do think it is a new growth. This is my Galeandra fimbriata. There are no signs of new growths, but one thing that happened was this pseudobulb, the leaf fell off, and it looks like the pseudobulb is starting to get consumed by the plant, so that's a new thing. This is my Phalaenopsis cornu-cervi, and it actually is pushing out a flower spike. I'm a little bit concerned because it seems like this plant is too small to be putting out a flower spike, but I'll just keep my eye on it. This is my Phalaenopsis javanica. In total, it has 3 flower spikes. The one on the right there is new, and the other 2 on the left, some of them have some, I'll say, embryo bud starting. Earlier this month, there was an embryo bud on one of them, but they never developed, so not sure if these buds will develop. I'm hoping they will. I'm trying to keep this stuff moist. Also, one thing I noticed, the camera doesn't really quite capture it, but this leaf is starting to yellow a little bit. Compared to this leaf, it's a lot lighter. Not a lot lighter, but it is lighter. So that leaves me a little bit concerned. I have been watering the phals with fertilizer more regularly, at a lower level, but more regularly. So I was hoping that would help with that. What I would like to see is a new leaf. So one thing I wanted to point out was I did have a Trichocentrum albocoxaneum that I got from the show this year, but it is no longer alive. It was a very short lifespan with me, and it did get bacterial rot really, really quickly. I'm not sure why. I wonder if it's because I didn't remove that black spot, but actually the leaf with the black spot got rot, or it rotted from the bottom later than the other 2 leaves. So that's very disappointing. I did email the vendor to see if I could get a replacement, but they haven't replied yet, so I hope they can. But that's that. Alright, so this is my Pedangus dactyloceras. It has a new growth on the side here, and it has this leaf. It's coming out nice and thick. And I think there's another new growth on the other side, or is a flower spike. So this is new Phoenicia falcata kutsumrishi. This is my other new Phoenicia. I'm kind of falling out of love with them, so I'm considering giving them away. Not 100% sure if I'm going to do that, but I don't know, I'm not getting too much joy out of these, and they take so long to grow. This is my Dendrobium cariniferum. Previously, it was potted in semi-hydro. As you can tell by the growths, it hasn't been doing well in that, so I repotted it in lava rock. When I unpotted this plant, it had only maybe 2 or 3 good roots, so it didn't like semi-hydro at all, and those roots had growing root tips, so on one hand that's good. But after I potted it in semi-hydro, I think the root tips died off, but this latest growth is pushing out new roots, just 2 for now, so I think it'll do better in lava rock. So these 2 are Dendrobium linawianum. This was previously a keiki on this cane, but I decided to take it off and pot it up by itself. And the keiki also has a new growth in there. I haven't seen any new growths on the base of this plant, so I don't know if this one will continue to grow or not. Right, so these are my flask babies, Dendrobium tobayense, or tobayens, and Paraphalaenopsis leicocii. Not much to update. I added 2 lines with a Sharpie just to track their growth. This is my Paphinia rugosa. It hasn't gotten much bigger, especially this side here, but the roots are going down into the media, and you can see the little fuzz on it growing, so I think it likes this setup so far. Every morning I do spray the moss, so it's a little bit damp, although I forgot today. It's a little crispy, but yeah. So far this is doing pretty okay. So these 2 are my Chysis levis. I decided to take them out of the basket and put them up in pots just to keep the medium more moist, because it does dry up pretty quickly in a basket. This one I'm not sure if it's going to survive or not, but we'll see. This one is doing pretty well. This growth was just starting to push out roots, and they are starting to go down into the pot, so it's doing pretty well. I was actually surprised when I repotted this. It had a pretty good root system going. I thought it would be kind of dried up, but no, this is doing pretty well. I actually had a bit of trouble potting it up into this pot because the roots are pretty long and I didn't want to break them because the pot's not that big. But yeah, this one is doing pretty okay. This is my Vanda roboligiana. When I moved it to this location, the leaves started to turn purple, and I think it's because the light is too bright. So what I did was I added this this plastic packing material to help diffuse the light on this half of the shelf. So it looks like it's starting to lose its purple color, and this leaf is starting to grow again, so I think that was a good idea. This is my Dendrobium draconis, and just noted that this bud is starting to crack open, so this is very exciting. I'll get 3 blooms on this guy. This is my Bulbophyllum arbrotinum, and I repotted it in this food container. The bottom half is lava rock and the top half is rock wool. I think it's really liking it. This is the latest growth I got, and it's a lot bigger than the previous growth that I ever had, so that's a good sign. The only thing is the leaf is a bit red, and I think that might be because of the light. Maybe it needs less light. Well, it probably needs less light, but in terms of growth, I think that's great. Also, you can see this root from this pseudobulb. It's making its way down to the media, so this is doing a pretty good job of keeping the humidity around the plant. So this is my other Neophoenicia that I'm also thinking about giving away. Well, I only have 2, but in any case, it looks like the leaf on this one is starting to grow again, so some activity coming on this plant. So this is my Bulbophyllum silvaceae, and for a while this growth just stalled, but it's starting to grow again, so that's good. This is my Dendrobium virginium, and its new growth is growing really nicely. This is my Coryanthes missaceae. I think I mentioned a while back that it had a new growth, but I didn't actually do anything until now, so now it's actually starting to push out. This is my Polycycnus barbata, and its new growth is pushing out really nicely. This is my Phalaenopsis fimbriata, and it pushed out a new flower spike at the top there. It's also starting to lose this leaf. That's not good, but I'm hoping it'll push out a new leaf soon. This is my Dendrobium billatillum, and the flower is finally dying, so until next time. This is my Rodriguezia lemannii, and it's pushing out a new growth. Alrighty, so that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!